Hi, welcome back, Man in a Sea of Lies. Not from Humber Marshes today, but we're just in Markham taking a little break around lunchtime here on the 24th of February, on a Tuesday. It's really nice outside. It's really, really cold. It's showing in -9 on my display here in my car, but I think it's colder outside than that. I think it's just the car's just warmed up a little bit. The sensors from the sun. So I mentioned this in the short already, but I listened a little more today to see if anything is changing at all as far as our perception of what's going on with the continued situation, our economy, and the situation with tariffs and Donald Trump and stuff like that, right? So nothing has changed. I would say it's even escalating further from all sides. I mean, nobody. I mean, there are like a few marginalized observers that kind of have a different perspective on these things, but we're so unaware of what we do and how we come across. I mean, it's become a joke now. All these talking heads and all these people, commentators on the radio, they kind of make fun of Donald Trump, that he's so unpredictable and unreliable, and you don't know what's he gonna do tomorrow morning or something like that, right? So we sort of, we come across, we say that we expect some sort of a steady thing from Donald Trump, but look at our behavior. I mean, we slammed Donald Trump everywhere, everybody. I mean, regular people, media, politicians. We slammed Donald Trump relentlessly about everything, all the time, with vigor and aggression. We slammed and threatened him and the United States of America so many times. And this is even before the tariffs thing ever came up. Initially, Trump, this whole thing started not from Donald Trump threatening tariffs, but he started saying to everybody, look, our market is not a playground for the whole world to sell whatever the hell they want and how much stuff they want. Well, limiting whatever the United States can export to markets across the world, right? But he got nothing but ridicule, right? Because everybody hates the man. So he started doing things, and he started using some of the tools that he's got, and even some guys pointed out today. Well, some guy from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business said, well, it's not as bad because only about 1 in 5 things that Trump threatens with, happens, right? So Trump is poking around. The same with the Ambassador Bridge or the Gordie Howe Bridge. He's poking around. He's showing us that that there are issues here and there. Whether, one thing or another, he succeeds with something, that doesn't necessarily mean he's trying to show us that, to try to have a conversation, a civilized conversation about our trade with the United States of America. But what do? We slam him and slam him and slam him and slam him. Carney, Ford, everybody slams Donald Trump. All of the media slams Donald Trump continuously, 24/7. And people even in coffee shops here in Canada slam Donald Trump as well. Everybody does. And then we wonder, we're being absolutely consumed by this hate. So we are being irrational, really, right? I'm not saying that makes Donald Trump rational. I didn't say that. But we are behaving irrationally, and we expect rational behavior from everybody else. We're behaving like people in a bad marriage or something like that. So everybody is willing to hold Donald Trump to account. So everybody is willing to hold Donald Trump to account on every issue and criticize him relentlessly. But our own political leaders, the whole media and everybody else, they're running cover for Carney. They're saying that he's doing this steady, stable kind of thing, reasonable politician, and the public response. I mean, his support levels are very high, so people like him. But do we hold him to account? Is he accountable? Does he take any responsibility for what's going on here? I mean, these uncertainty levels are dramatic in Canada. This is not some sort of period that transitional period or something like that. No, we're in a sharp decline. Look at the food inflation numbers. Food prices are again getting out of control. Business investment in Canada. We're running business investment in Canada is half the levels of what businesses invest in their own future in the United States. The job market is really, really soft. Our deficits and debts are basically out of control. The housing market is, the bubble is collapsing. General inflation is very high, right? Still, I don't trust, I said this before, I don't really trust Statistics Canada and, like the bankers. I don't trust them when they report those inflation numbers because they pick and choose stuff they compare, right? So I don't trust them. The perception, the feeling is that the inflation is much higher than what they report. And look at income. I mentioned this before many times, but I will continue to hammer on this issue because it's getting ridiculous now. Like the Americans on average are starting to earn like $30,000 more than Canadians on average. And their productivity is increasing, and ours is declining. That's another issue. I mentioned this before. Our productivity is declining because most of the growth in our job markets comes from government hiring, and governments are inherently inefficient because they do not value, they do not wealth. I hate it when governments use term like investment in public this or investment in public that. That doesn't work that way. Only business investment and personal investments can add value to the economy. Government spending always takes away. Always. Some things you still have to do collectively because you can't have private roads everywhere, right? Or stuff like that, right? Or private train stations. You could technically, but there is a calculation. You can do an economic calculation. How what makes sense to do from a public perspective, and what we should leave to the private sector, right? So that's not the general rule. There is exemptions, but they only prove the rule. Those exemptions. So again, we all over Donald Trump, and Mr. Carney is getting a freaking pass while, taking our economy over the cliff. And Canadians are buying the stupid rhetoric from the media and from our politicians. They're just eating everything up. Even though everything around them is crumbling. They're still eating everything up, whatever the politicians say. I find it incredible. To some extent, it's been the case for a long time. We're kind of prone to trusting our governments here in Canada. We're kind of prone to trust our media as well. But the levels are the highest of this that I've ever seen. That's all I got for today.